We're outside of the Woody Creek Tavern in Aspen. It's time for a new segment on American Artist Road Trip. And while scouring the roads of this great land, I wanted to showcase what might be hanging on some of the famous and infamous places along the way. And with that infamous tag, I thought stopping at the Woody Creek Tavern was a natural. High in the Rockies and high on the list of well-known watering holes. Located in the Roaring Fork Valley, in close proximity to Aspen, and just minutes from Highway 82. Outside the Woody Creek Tavern, just minutes from Aspen. Now, if you think this place is kind of eclectic from the outside, wait till you get to the inside. People have been known to even ride up on horseback here. Entering the Woody Creek Tavern, I was quickly greeted by the owners, Kevin and Laura. Their inviting style was refreshing, and they treated me like a longtime regular. The vibe is so relaxed. The staff seemed like old friends. It was like every neighborhood bar I knew, but embraced by a sense of mountain culture. They cater to regulars and at the same time invite people from everywhere to mix and experience its charm. I have to admit, I did have an agenda here. Immerse myself in the lore of the Woody Creek legend, its quirkiness, and what has drawn people here since the 80s. Some of its regulars have included Don Johnson. Ed Bradley used to live nearby, as does musician John Oates from Hall & Oates, another Woody Creek resident. The Nitty Gritty Dirt Band have even left their mark. Famous culinary queen Rachel Ray has made a stop here. And if you look hard enough, you'll see supermodel Elle Macpherson. And wait, there's Kevin Costner and a very young Johnny Depp. Also hanging out is actor Jim Belushi. If you keep looking long enough, you might even run into somebody you know. I chatted with longtime bartender and server Erica Ruderman about what really goes on at the Woody Creek Tavern.
Yesterday was beautiful, so it was busy. But on a Saturday night, I mean, it's typical. We've got all like the Woody Creatures, as we call them. All the local people come in and hang out, usually on their same bar stool and drink their same thing. Gaylord, he's curmudgeon right here. But there's a big.
Local author Gaylord Gwynnon actually claims that his longtime friend Hunter Thompson once shot him in the tavern.
Gaylord was the first bar manager here. Wrote for the paper. There's a bunch of articles on the walls with all of his articles. And he is grumpy. Like, almost in a fantastic manner. He's like the grumpiest man alive. He yells at people when they walk in. It's great.
Hardly a square inch in the tavern that isn't taken up by some sort of visual flashback. If you're sitting at the bar, there's no shortage of reading material.
I put new things up probably on a daily basis here.
They encourage taking your photo or interesting tidbit and adding it to the walls.
This, I think it was in Forbes magazine or something, the top 10 wealthiest zip codes. And that's hanging over there, and Woody Creek was number 3. Yeah, so I mean, if we find something interesting, or we'll throw something up there on the wall or frame it. Somebody sent us an article that had been written in Japan about the Woody Creek, and there's a ton of pictures of like people working here, and then Gaylord, and I have no idea what this article says because it's all in Japanese, but they sent us that, so that's also hanging over across the way.
People do flock here for the food. Well known for their steaks, barbecue pork, chicken, tacos, enchiladas, and their legendary margaritas. I had the chicken lime soup paired with a local microbrew. The Woody Creek legend wouldn't be complete without mentioning the Doctor. This was almost a daily hangout for Gonzo journalist Hunter S. Thompson. There are so many visual tributes in his memory here. The Woody Creek area was Hunter's nirvana, and the tavern its epicenter. This is almost sacred ground. It was a surreal honor just to be able to sit at his favorite table near the door. I can only imagine just how weird things got right in this very spot. We were privileged by the owners to leave our mark just behind the bar.
That's okay. Thank you. All right.
Raise your glass to us if you're sitting at the bar. One trip here won't be enough. Too much to take in. I know I'll be back again, even just to watch extreme kayak fishing. Apparently, this road trip to the Aspen area wasn't quite over. Aspen, Colorado. So much to do and see. The slopes, the people, and so many fine galleries everywhere. And on this trip, I literally stumbled into a collection of weirdness and wonder just by accident, right downtown. Now, I remember seeing my first Hunter S. Thompson book as a teen. I became enthralled with the visual impact of Ralph Steadman. His illustrations brought forth a new embodiment to the written word. And here I am, nearly 40 years later, about to witness its grandeur, up close at the Gonzo Museum.
My name is Daniel Watkins. I'm the curator of the Gonzo Museum in downtown Aspen, Colorado. We champion lost art and underappreciated art by great writers and artists like Hunter S. Thompson, Tom Benton, William S. Burroughs, and Ralph Steadman. And we're housing the original Benton building where Hunter Thompson and local intellectuals and activists used to meet in the 60s and 70s, which had Hunter's sort of famous epitaph, "It never got weird enough for me." And the most famous poster we have, of course, is the original Thompson for Sheriff, one-sided silkscreen, created by Benton throughout his life. The print was produced by Hunter S. Thompson with Ralph Steadman, and the printer Joe Petro III created 4 prints of this. Ralph and Hunter didn't necessarily like it, so they ended up painting on top of it with Ralph's illustrations, and so they made 77 of this print that Hunter signed and Ralph signed, whereas there's only 4 of these in the world. And this right here is a self-portrait that Hunter Thompson created. It's one of his shotgun art pieces, and he would take little liquor bottles, airplane liquor bottles, fill them up with paint, tie a little string around them, and then hang the paint bottles in front of the thing and tack the string into the top, and then would stand back and shoot the bottles of paint, which would create this unique effect. And this is signed by Hunter, and then it's inscribed, "Today the Doctor, tomorrow you." Collection of the Aspen Wall Poster series, which was created by Benton and Hunter in 1970 during the run-up to his campaign for sheriff of Pitkin County. And these posters were part politics, part propaganda. You know, there's art on one side, and then if you flip them around, there's writing by Hunter about what was happening to Aspen in the late 60s, early 70s. And are some of his most interesting and entertaining writing, where he really developed his Gonzo journalistic style through these wall posters.
This original print of Lounge Lizards by Ralph Steadman is simply spectacular.
That was created after Hunter died in 2005, signed by all of people that contributed to the funeral, Ed Bradley, Bill Murray, Johnny Depp, Kurt Vonnegut, etc.
It's been 7 years since Hunter's death. The museum strives to keep this era of activism and art alive. The collection includes hundreds of works of art, original manuscripts, and a complete set of wall posters from Hunter Thompson's Freak Power campaign for Pitkin County Sheriff in 1970.
and lawyers, guns and money. Dad, get me out of this. Ha!
Hey, thanks again for watching American Artist Road Trip. We really want this project to take off. We really appreciate you sharing it on Facebook and YouTube. What? Oh, it's time to go. You guys are going to feed Zoe, right? Try and track down this recent issue of Juxtaposed. There's a great retrospect on Ralph Steadman.